Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Cooks by Carrie. If you're new here, I'm Carrie, and for today's video, I'm sharing how to make these delicious sweet potato fries from the New York Times cooking section. I found this recipe online, and I was able to print it out. Hopefully you guys will too, because I think you might need a subscription to print it, but I think there might be a way to print it, so hopefully you guys can access this recipe. But this recipe was extremely simple, tasted really good, and I can't wait to show you how to make it. Alrighty, let's get started. For this recipe, you are going to need 2 pounds of sweet potatoes peeled, 2 tablespoons olive oil, a teaspoon garlic powder, a teaspoon paprika, 1 teaspoon salt, and half a teaspoon black pepper. Now the first step I'm showing here is peeling my potatoes. My potatoes I found at my grocery store were pretty big, but you just want to make sure you have 2 pounds, no matter if they're big or small. I also don't show here, but you also want to make sure you're heating your oven to 400 degrees. My oven is a little wonky, so I can't really give you any tips for this recipe on if there's a certain temperature you need it more, or like cooking time and stuff like that when we get to it. So just know you'll probably have to do some of that on your own, but this recipe was like really simple, so you shouldn't have any trouble cooking it or anything like that. I did notice that these sweet potatoes were a little bit hard to peel, but I found that it was easiest to take my peeler and try and get like really long strokes. And always peel away from yourself, never towards yourself. This part probably took the longest, as well as the cutting of the potato, but other than that, this recipe is so simple. Now for the potato cutting. The sweet potato was pretty hard to cut. And as you can see here, I'm trying to figure out how to cut it, and I am cutting a chunk off because I actually had a little bit more than 2 pounds of potatoes, so if that's the same with you, then you can just do that. So I just, off to the side, was weighing my potatoes. And just figuring out how to get it to 2 pounds. You can see that it's okay if you have, you can just always take some off if you have a little bit of extra potato. And in a second here, you are going to see, me try and cut the potato, but since it was a little bit difficult to cut, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty firm, and since I'm not that experienced with cutting things like this, I had my dad come in because he's very experienced and knows how to use a knife safely. So if this is the case for you and you have not really cut many things before, I would say try and have someone there to help you or guide you. Or maybe I don't know how to say it, because I don't want to tell you not to use a sharper knives can be safer. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but that's something my dad says, so I think it's true. But so I would just say, if you're not an experienced cutter, maybe try and get like pre-cut sweet potatoes, smaller sweet potatoes, because it might be easier to cut a smaller one. Or just have someone there to kind of guide you through it. Now in the next shot, I am moving on to the next step, and that's just because I did the rest of the sweet potatoes off camera. Now the next step here is to grab a large bowl and toss the fries, or I guess they're not fries yet, but the sweet potato in some olive oil. And I was debating what the best thing to mix this would be. Like, do I use a spatula, maybe tongs? But I decided that my hands, since they were very clean, that it was going to be the best idea to just use that. So my method was add a few fries, coat them in the olive oil, add a few more fries, add a little bit more olive oil, make sure they're all evenly coated, and then repeat that until all my fries were coated in the olive oil. And I would say that this method worked very well. I recommend doing it like this. If your hands are clean, definitely use them. Now in a small bowl, I'm combining all my spices. So this is the garlic powder, the paprika, the salt, and the black pepper. And this seasoning, I wasn't really sure if I was going to like it or not, but it was actually really good. It was pretty mild, but it just gave like a subtle hint of flavor. And then I'm just going in with a fork to mix it all up. And I'm also shaking the bowl just because it was kind of hard to make sure that everything was mixed evenly. Now we are going to be combining the fry, I don't know why I keep calling them fries. I mean, technically they're fry shaped, but I'm going to be combining the sweet potatoes with all the spices, and I'm using kind of the same method I did with the olive oil. I have clean hands, so I'm just kind of moving the fries around, making sure they're all coated. Now, I would say be careful because you don't want to break the sweet potatoes when you do this. The last step before we throw these fries into the oven is to coat the pan with olive oil. Yes, my pan does look like this, but I promise you it is clean. And then we're just apportioning the fries, half on this tray and half on another tray. This is just because you don't want them completely on top of each other. So you'll see that I lay the fries out and then I make sure that they're not completely on top of each other. And I am using some tongs to do this, but you could also use like a large spoon or something else. I mean, a tongue is preferable, but if you don't have one on hand, there's totally other things you can do. Now my oven is at 400 degrees, and yes, it says 407. That's just because my oven's really weird. But you're going to want to place these in the oven, and the recipe says to put them in for 15 minutes, and then after 15 minutes, flip them, and then cook for 10 minutes. Now, I cannot tell you if this was enough time or not because my oven is really weird. I need to get it fixed or looked at, actually. So for me, it did take longer, but just kind of like do what they say and then figure out if you need more or less time. So there they were after the 15 minutes, and so I flip them. You want to be really careful when you flip them because you might be able to see here that when I go ahead and I flip them, they are still like kind of mushy, so you can break them. So you want to be really careful. And then I'm just sticking them back into the oven. Also, I apologize here for kind of the shaky filming, and just because I sped up this clip so that you guys wouldn't have to watch the full like 2-minute process of this, so sorry about that. Alrighty guys, before we continue with this video, please subscribe, leave a like, thumbs up, comment down below what you'd like to see next, and turn that notification bell on. I have a goal of 100 subscribers, so you could please help me with that. That would be greatly appreciated. I'm so sorry guys, but I don't have a video of me taking out the fries out of the oven, but I did end up actually burning most of them, but these ones were part of the good ones, and they were actually very, very delicious. I would totally make this recipe again, and I would definitely recommend it to a friend. I would give it an 7.5 out of 10. Pretty good. And also that kind of all around, that's kind of funny. Alrighty guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, like, comment down below, turn that notification bell on, share this video with a friend, and make sure to follow me on Instagram at CooksByCarrie. I post lots of fun photos of the food I cook. And that's all for this video. Make sure to tune in on Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Foodie Friday video. Bye guys.